Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the topic why men come back after you ignore them. So there are two possible reasons why a guy would come back after you ignore him, and yeah, usually they do come back, I found anyways from my past experience, also from just hearing stories from other people like my girlfriend. And this even applies to guys. Girls come back after guys ignore them, so a lot of it is to do with psychology. But first we are going to get through the first reason, which is actually a really eye-opening reason. And it's not necessarily a good thing if they come back. One reason a guy could come back after you ignore him is he could actually be ego-driven. Yes, he could be very, very egotistical. And before you ignored him, were kind of doting to him. You always were available for him to contact you. You responded immediately. You never ignored him. Like, you treated him very well. And this guy is very egotistical. Well, he is going to take that type of treatment for granted. And then all of a sudden, when you take it away, it's psychology. You took that away from him, what he expects and takes for granted. And so it's going to trigger him and set him off. And then he is going to basically chase you, even to the point of harassment. Sometimes I've seen this, because he wants the ball back in his court. It's all about a power play in that case. He wants you wrapped around his finger again. That is what is going on psychologically, okay? And the reason why this is super eye-opening is because this is going to reveal to you that this guy is not a high-quality guy. He is driven by his ego, selfish, conceited, maybe even narcissistic, and he at the end of the day isn't going to give you what you need in a loving, balanced, nourishing relationship. He's not going to give you genuine love. He is just going to give you, basically he's just going to give you breadcrumbs. Once he chases you and then you respond and you do start paying attention to him and treating him well again, the ball will be back in his court. And what's going to happen? He's just going to return back to his normal egotistical behaviors of wanting attention from you, wanting you there immediately, wanting you to be available 24/7. Instead of you just ignoring him for him to come back, you should just ignore him to ghost him. Or not ghost him, but you should just get him out of your life. Basically, this guy is not good for you. He's toxic, actually. You don't want toxic people in your life. They only bring you down and they only lead to unhappiness. So that's the first reason. The second reason is he is not egotistical, but for some reason, I don't know why, he just wasn't making you happy for some reason, which caused you to ignore him, right? Something was going on where you weren't happy, so maybe he didn't want to get serious with you, or he wasn't paying enough attention to you, or he just didn't seem that interested in you. Well, when you ignore him, if he is a normal person that isn't egotistical and ego-driven, he probably won't do anything at first. He'll probably just leave it as is, leave the communication dead between you two, and just let you guys go about your normal lives. Basically allow you to just separate and move on. Okay, he won't do this crazy thing where he's harassing and chasing you. He will honestly just not care. And at that point, if you have a good head on your shoulders, you will allow that to happen, allow both of you to go your separate ways, but you will move on with your life, your goals, your dreams, improving yourself, and level up. Okay, and then somehow he'll see that, maybe on social media, or he'll hear it from your friends or whatever. Somehow he will realize that you've basically leveled up, and then he'll see, wow, this girl is amazing. Like, I didn't really give her a real chance. I should have got to know her better. Look at how much she's doing in her life. Look how great she looks, whatever the case may be. And then he might come back at that point. So those are the two scenarios why a guy would come back. Just to confirm this for you guys, I will share a story from my own life. So first I'll share the egotistical one. So I was messaging a guy. I hadn't even actually met him, honestly, and we were snapping back and forth, and I had planned on meeting him. He just wasn't really a first priority in my life. I was talking to other guys, and I think he was 2 hours away at that point, and I lived 2 hours away from him. So I was like, well, if I'm ever in the area, I will make a point to meet him. In the meantime, I'll just snap him, whatever. So we were snapping back and forth. He was snapping me every day, quite frequently, and I would just kind of snap him whenever it was convenient for me, And I would also post on my stories. I love posting my Snapchat stories. If you guys want to see, you can add me on Snapchat at lyrascotchz with a Z. I would sometimes leave him unread on Snapchat and still post my public stories. And that actually got him really, really mad because I was, in a sense, ignoring him. But I didn't want to just open the snap and leave him on read and not respond. I thought that was ruder. But he didn't like that I was just not reading his snaps and then posting public on my story. He thought that was really rude. I don't think so. I want to open the snap when I'm ready to give a really good response, right? I don't want to just give a crappy response. That was my logic to it. And honestly, it wouldn't bother me if someone did that to me. Like, I'm really not that obsessed with how people respond to my Snapchats. So he got really mad and he would just say really kind of like things to kind of bring me down or just make me like trying to guilt me into snapping him more. He would be like, oh, I see that you're just ignoring my snaps, not even gonna try with you anymore. Might as well delete you, okay? And not just him, I've had other guys say this too, and that is an ego-driven guy. That is a huge red flag that this dude is just wanting attention, just wanting you to always be available and convenient and constantly respond to him. So that was a real red flag. And again, the more I ignored him, the more he messaged me, the more. So I actually had to end up blocking him because he was that crazy. I didn't even meet him actually. And super weird, when I actually was in the area, he saw me somehow and actually like messaged me on Tinder because I at that point had blocked him on Snapchat, but he messaged me on Tinder saying, oh, I saw you in town. What's up? We should meet up. Honestly, it goes that far when you ignore guys. They do not forget it. And in other cases, if they're more normal, I've just basically stopped contact or communication. So I would have maybe like a friends with benefits type of thing. And I don't know, the communication would just drop off between us. But they do always come back. Like every few months, they would message me on Facebook or try to add me on Facebook or just somehow get in contact with me again. I've even had times where I would like have a one night stand with a guy and he would message me multiple times. Me ignoring him, like reading the message and not responding. Because I was ignoring him, he would just keep messaging me. So I'm telling you, from a psychological point of view, the ignoring tactic does work. So the best way for you to get a guy back after you ignore him, if he's not this crazy egotistical guy, is actually to ignore him, not with the intention that you're just ignoring him to basically get a rile out of him and to try to like manipulate what's going on and try to get him to come back as like a trick. That's not the right way to go about it. That's just the wrong intention to have. And honestly, it's just going to backfire if you do that because eventually he'll realize that you were trying to play mind games with him. And if he's a high quality guy, he will not like that. I mean, nobody likes playing mind games. Nobody likes that. So he'll realize that you're trying to be manipulative and trying to play mind games, and then he won't want anything to do with you at that point. So you don't want to go about it that way. You want to go about it in the classy way, which is maybe ignore him because you actually genuinely want to focus on yourself. So the point is the intention that you have. What will make him come back faster is if you can actually change your state. It's all about your emotional state, not his, because you can never control what someone else feels and what someone else thinks. It's only you that can control. So focus on changing your own emotional state and get to the point where you actually genuinely don't give a shit whether or not he comes back. Because once you get to that point and you flip, you'll see all of a sudden it will be like, boom. You'll just realize that you've changed. You're totally different. And you honestly don't give a shit whether or not this guy comes back, whether or not he misses you, whether or not he even notices that you're ignoring him, because you will be so busy focusing on yourself, leveling up, looking better, your goals, your career, your passions. You'll just be so engaged in your own life, in living your own life, that you won't even be thinking about him. And because you'll be leveling up so much, trust me, this happens. Like, just take my word from it. This will happen. Not only him, so many guys will be interested in you. So many guys will be coming at you left and right. You'll be trying to dodge them and it'll just be really overwhelming. This guy won't even be on your mind. You won't even think about him anymore. That is the point that you want to get to, because at that point you are psychologically and emotionally free. That is actually what you want, is the peace of mind and the freedom from wondering about this one guy. guy. Realize there's so many guys. This guy might not even be the right guy for you. But yes, ignoring men does make them come back for one of those two reasons. So my point in this video is you want to start focusing on yourself and leveling up. It's time to focus on you. It's time to put yourself first. And when you start putting yourself first and filling your cup up, you are going to be ready for true love. You will be ready for that perfect guy to come into your life. And it will just show up because you will be putting out the energy to the world that you are ready for it. And then that is when the world will bring you it. Because if you're not psychologically ready, you are not going to get it. You have to put yourself in alignment with it. If you guys want to know more about how to level up, how to become more attractive, more intelligent, more passionate about life, more focused, check out my 2 videos, How I Became Beautiful Using the Law of Attraction, and also High Value Woman Traits. I'm going to link them both up here for you guys. If you guys have any relationship advice questions, please DM me on my Instagram at lyrascotchz. I would love to make a video for you all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!